Hey guys, today we're going to start Unit 6. We are halfway through the year. I bet that's pretty exciting to you. Summer is right around the corner, so let's get through this Unit 6. It's just one step closer to summer. So what I have pulled up here is your formula chart, and we haven't looked at the formula chart that much this year, and so I hope you have a copy of it. If you don't, get a copy of it. So the very top of your formula chart is what we've already done. We've already covered, which are linear equations. We did slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. And then we learned about constant of proportionality. Now we're going to start the second and the third part of your formula chart. Specifically today, it's going to be circles. We're going to learn all about circles. And so if you notice there, they have an entire row devoted to the circumference of a circle. And then they have this, this squiggly little line thing, and we'll talk about that a little bit, and that's called pi. So we're going to learn about that. And then we'll also be learning about the area of a triangle, the area of a square, a rectangle, trapezoid, and even again, the area of a circle. In fact, we're going to cover everything there is to know about a circle before we move on to these other shapes. These shapes are two-dimensional shapes, okay, which means they all have length and they have width, so they'd all be a flat shape, kind of like this flat shape right here. Right, this is a two-dimensional shape. If I had a bouncing ball like a basketball or a tennis ball, that would be a three-dimensional shape. Let's see, I think pi, yes. If you look down towards the bottom of this formula chart, you'll see the word where it says additional information. It says pi, and then they tell you what pi is. Pi is 3.14 as a fraction. And that's an approximation, and we'll talk about that later. Or as a fraction, 22/7. We don't look at that fraction too often. We pretty much focus on 3.14. So with all that said, let's get going and let's talk about the circle. So this is the notes. Hopefully you have a copy of this in front of you. But I just want to talk about a circle. Here's a circle right here. Again, I'm hoping you know what a circle is. Okay, now I'm going to fold this circle in half. And this line that I've created right here, I can open it back up and you can see it. This line right here, this is called the diameter of a circle. The diameter of a circle. And if I fold the diameter of a circle in half, which is the same as dividing by 2, then I'll have the radius. So the diameter of a circle, the radius of a circle. And again, if I open up this circle up again, it's easier for you to see the diameter, and then again, there's a radius, this is a radius, this is a radius, this is a radius. It just starts from the center, that's the middle of the circle, and then it goes out in a straight line to the side. It can go out anywhere, radius, 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 radius. Now, outside or around the circle, we call that the circumference. It's kind of like the perimeter. The perimeter of a shape is the distance around a shape, but with the circle, we call it the circumference. And there's a formula for that. It's on your formula chart. We'll be talking about it. Now, this whole green area, that's what it's called. It's called the area of the circle. So we have the circumference, we have the diameter, we have the radius, we have the center of the circle, and we have the area of the circle. Those are all the things that we'll be covering today in our lesson. All right, so let's get started. Again, I'm going to go ahead and draw. I want you to, on your picture that you have, go ahead and put a little dot in the middle, and that is the center. And if you want, you could put a little C there, but probably you can remember that that's the center with the representation, because look, that's what we're covering: center, radius, and diameter. All right, I'm going to draw a line all the way across. This is my diameter. I don't really need this off to the side. All right, then I'm going to draw a line from the center out. It can go any direction I want it to go. Whoops, I forgot the R on the word diameter, so I put it on there. So there's that. That is the radius. right? You want to know all those things, okay? And you need to keep it straight in your head that the diameter is the long one, the radius is the short one, all right? Because it's going to come and play in these formulas we're going to look at. Now, here it talks about the relationship between the diameter and the radius. If you take the radius and you multiply it times 2, you get the diameter. Another way to look at this is the radius plus the radius equals the diameter. So you might go ahead and write that down, because we're actually going to write these down again and again and again and again and again. Okay, for the diameter, for the radius is half of the diameter. Another way to think of that is to say if I take the diameter and I divide it by 2, then I will get the radius. So go ahead and write that down. Now here's the deal. We're going to be doing a lot of formulas, and I'm always going to ask you to write the formula down, substitute numbers in, and then solve it. It just makes it so easy. So I'm going to ask you to try to not skip that step. And so I will make an example of it as I work through each one of these problems that we have today. All right, so now let's look at these circles. There's 3, and we're going to identify the line that's indicated on each circle, whether it's the radius or the diameter. So for number 1, this is the radius. So I'm going to put an R right there, and I want you to do the same thing on yours. The next one, what do you think? Diameter or radius? That's right, it's the diameter. So I'm going to put a D there. And the last one, what do you think? Number 3, the radius. Very good. All right, now look at the below each circle. It calls for you to tell what the radius and the diameter is. But you know what? Of these 6 blanks, 3 of them have been given to us. So let's go back to number 1. Do we have the radius here or the diameter? That's correct, the radius. And the radius is 3. That's correct. So I'm going to put 3 right here. On number 2, they gave us a diameter. So I'm going to put 92 here. In the third one, we have the radius. So I'm going to put a 23 here. And I put the units behind it. That is whether they're feet or inches or whatever they are. Okay. That was given to us. We don't have to do anything to get that information. We just have to look and then write down what we see. Now we're going to have to do a little bit of work to get to the second part. So for the diameter, I have the radius. I need the diameter. So to get that, I would do radius plus the radius would get me the diameter. And since the radius is 3, I'm just going to add 3 plus 3, and I'm going to get 6. So the diameter is 6 yards. That was pretty easy. Do you see how I started with the formula? All right, the second one, diameter. The diameter, to go from diameter to radius, I take that diameter and I divide it by 2, and I can get the radius. So I wrote down a little formula. I'm going to plug in numbers. 92 divided by 2 equals the radius, and 92 divided by 2 is 46. So my radius is 46 inches. Notice I put the units there again. Next one, radius. So I want you to think about it. Am I going to do the R plus R equals D? Or am I going to do the D divided by 2 equals the radius? Right, I have the radius. So I'm going to find the diameter. So let's see, that's going to be 23 plus 23. If I add those together, I get 46. So my diameter is 46 feet. Okay, now there's 3 more of these. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to pause the video, and I want you to go ahead and fill in whether it's a radius or the diameter, and then put the number in the correct place. So you have 3 of these 6 blanks filled in. Get ready, get set, pause. Okay, back at you. I hope you filled it all in. I'm now going to do it, and you can just see if you did a good job. So the very first one is the diameter. So I'm going to put it right here. The second one is the radius. So I'm going to write that right here. And number 6 is the diameter. So I'm going to write it right here. So quickly check your work. Make sure you did the same thing. Now, I'm going to ask you to pause it again and figure out the radius, the diameter, and the radius on these three. Go ahead and pause right now. Okay, back at you. Here we go. Let's see. I need the radius. So I have the diameter. So the diameter divided by 2 is the radius. So that'd be 36 divided by 2. And if I do the math, I already know that's going to be 18. So I'm going to put 18 inches. Next one. They gave me the radius. I need the diameter. So radius plus radius is the diameter. So 19 plus 19 equals 38. So my diameter is 38 feet. Next one. They gave me the diameter. So if I take my diameter and I divide it by 2, I will get the radius, and that's what I want. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. So that is my radius. Radius is 6 yards. Bam. All right. Watch this video again if you need to, but otherwise get going on the practice and wish you the best of luck. See you later. Bye-bye.